Window gazers and wandering geezers, kick the dust from your weary boots, sink into the intoxication of familiarity, and resist for a moment the siren call of the lonely road.
Because this is Talk Tull to me.
Is it Lonely Road or Lonely Toad?
That sounds tragic. A lonely toad on a lonely road.
Welcome back, I am Omen Sade.
And I am Nick McGill.
Together we are Feckless Moans.
And this is Talk Tull to me.
A restful reprieve in the healing halls of prog rock, in which Never Go Out Nick and recently housebroken Omen sink into a pair of comfy leather armchairs, make a lovely cup of tea, and blow the dust off of every single track that prodigious prog rock band Jethro Tull ever produced. We will have a cookout in the Martin Bar backyard, watch the fireflies from the D. Palmer porch, and pour ourselves a nice cold glass cock of lemonade, all under the benevolent gaze and within the gentle embrace of Ian, please don't touch that thermostat, Anderson. He has it set right where he likes.
And he will know if it is a degree off.
Yeah.
Put on a sweater. Just put on a sweater.
I don't know if I've told you this, but I found out that there's a wonderful French phrase. You know, in the States, if someone leaves the light on, you might say, hey, can you turn off the light, please, if you're not using it in that room?
Yeah.
In French, they say, this isn't Versailles.
That's amazing.
I've started incorporating that into our home life here.
I need to use that because Ray has a tendency to leave all of the lights on in the house.
Oh, we all do, from time to time.
No, I don't.
But he loved the darkness. It was cheap and efficient.
No one could see his flaws, not even himself.
But I love saying to my wife, this isn't Versailles, darling.
Put out the candles.
Nick, hello. Welcome.
Hello, Omen. Welcome back. Welcome to track number 3 off of Stormwatch today.
And we are watching for the storm.
That we are. But before we get into the track itself, which is Home, we've got a little more Stormwatch lore, all told.
We almost need a lore sting.
We may need, but I mean, we're talking about it every single week.
Exactly.
We're gonna make it's gonna be a really long one, and then you'll eventually not want us to use it. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's a cycle. What lore do you have for us today, Nick?
So Home was recorded in 1979 in the July session, 1979, which I think was one of their, it was the last bit of the session because the whole album was between August 78 and July 79, interspersed between the tour.
In two big sessions mostly.
But this was one of the final ones.
Okay.
Ian has admitted that it is a rare romantic song.
Yes.
Quote from Ian, "The song Fires at Midnight was the same sort of thing, about the nature of home life, house, children, whatever. It's as simple as the song sounds." It's never that simple, Ian.
Yeah, right.
We also saw Home come out as a single in the States in October of 79. It came out paired with Warm Sporin.
Oh, interesting.
And then in the UK, November 23rd of 79, it dropped as an EP of Home, King Henry's Madrigal, Warm Sporin, and Ring Out Solstice Bells, because why not?
Hey, that's a nice EP.
It is. It's a very festive, like a Christmassy EP, I would say. It's nice.
Christmas with a hint of sporin.
Just a dash of sporin. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
You can always add more sporin.
You can never take sporin out.
You can't take it away. Yeah. And finally, a quote from Martin in the 1979 Melody Maker.
Oh, yes.
Quote, "This year we completed an album's worth of material, and then we went away to America, and when we got back, we listened to it again, and it wasn't there at all. So we all decided to start again."
Yeah. I feel like that happened with another album.
Wasn't that Chateau?
Yes.
Yeah, it was the Chateau Disaster, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was. But I feel like there was another one where they, at least maybe another song where they recorded it and then went away and then came back to it and they were like, oh no, this doesn't work at all. I feel like it was
Yeah.
some of Aqualung.
Oh,
Do you remember this?
I
Am I
think you're
making this
right.
up? Am I
Yeah.
confabulating it?
I think there's some rumor somewhere that they had to redo stuff, and I think like maybe Ian denies it. I don't quite remember that now. That sounds very familiar though.
If only we could go back and somehow reacquaint ourselves with these conversations that we have had. But unfortunately, once we've spake them, they disappear into the ether forever.
Absolutely impossible. I broke you.
Yeah, I glitched. Stitch had a glitch.
So I have nothing else in terms of Stormwatch right now. We'll keep dipping our toes in.
I had a thought. I was thinking about Dee Palmer.
Please never stop thinking about Dee Palmer.
I never do. And I was thinking about, well, I was listening to I found a new podcast called TED Talk Health, I think. It's TED Talks, but it's specifically about health and wellness.
Sure.
And there was this amazing presentation, TED Talk, that this woman gave about being intersex.
Oh.
And the sort of facts about being intersex, her experience being intersex. And she quoted this number that kind of blew my mind. She said that it has been determined through various studies that an estimated 1.7% of the population are intersex.
Well, I mean, we're seeing more and more people starting to come to realize that they are. You know, it's not so scary. It's not so...
Maybe slightly less stigmatized than it has been in the past.
Yeah, so I think just from the more regular accounts we're seeing, that number sounds about right.
But yeah, and I mean, and for me, that's a great thing to remind people if anyone's like, oh yeah, that's great, but I've never met anyone who's intersex. Well, if you've met 65 people or 70 people in your life, then yes, you have.
Yeah, you just don't know it. They didn't know it at the time. It could be any number of things.
So I just wanted to drop that little fun fact on you.
Yeah. Good old Miss D, bringing knowledge to the party.
Exactly. Nick.
Yes,
Should we listen to the song?
I can't wait to go home.
I can't wait to stop doing this accent.
Let's.
As the dawn sun breaks over sleepy gardens, I'll be here to do all things to comfort you.
Oof.
My goodness. I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think it is safe to assume that you enjoy this song.
I do enjoy that song. Yes, you are safe.
Interesting note. The songwriters on Google Lyrics give credit to Joe Hurst and John Anderson.
The hell is John Anderson?
Is that his middle name? Ian John Anderson, maybe?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Who's Joe Hurst? Yeah, I'm seeing that right now.
I have my doubts to the veracity of that. I could go upstairs and get the vinyl.
I have doubts as to the viscosity of that.
It's a non-Newtonian fluid, so you should have your doubts about that.
I think that it's looking to me like John Anderson and Joe Hurst are owners of a music publishing company. So I suspect that Google got the lyrics from the publishing company and accidentally accredited the songwriting to them rather than Ian Anderson.
Yeah. And Ian's middle name is Scott. So the Anderson connection is purely
a red herring.
Purely a red herring, yeah. How unfortunately coincidental.
So Nick, you assumed correctly that I like this song. May I make a dangerous assumption about you?
You've been doing it for 20 years. Do it again.
That's true. Do you like this song? Okay, all right.
I do.
Is it because of your sentimental nature?
I think it's the combination of that and D strings. I mean, that.
Yes.
You could play that over a rabbit being slaughtered and I would probably weep.
Yeah, yes, definitely. I would weep for the rabbit. You know what this reminds me of? It's sort of like the photo negative of "To Cry You a Song,"
Oh.
because it's the same topic,
Yeah, I see
coming
that.
home to the person that you love. But in "To Cry You a Song," it's all difficult. Everything is difficult. Coming home, it's a difficult process. You're struggling to get there
Yeah.
so that you can scream this song of love. And there's an effortlessness about this.
Well, To Cry You a Song was when Ian was just a little whippersnapper, you know,
Yes, and married to Jay Franks.
and he must have just been married to Jenny. Like,
Yes, I
they
believe so.
fresh, newlywed, as the term goes.
As,
But this
as
one,
we say
as
on
as
Earth
the
here.
kids say, this one is clearly like, I have a home. I have a farmhouse in
Yeah.
England, and I just appreciate that time that I have with my wife.
Yeah. And I think that the gentleness and again the effortlessness of it is indicative of the fact that this is a really healthy relationship, and that
Yeah.
that the writer has come to a place of accepting of himself as well. I mean, I think that, as you pointed out, there is a big difference between those two songs, because in "To Cry You a Song," Ian was, as you say, a whippersnapper.
Yeah. I think that's a nice way to put it, that he's accepting of himself. This is not, there's nothing begrudging here. This is one of those very few moments, as Ian said, that we get to see behind the facade. And it's just a really sweet moment that he's sharing with us.
He's not worrying about how many cigarettes he has.
No, because he knows he can go home and have as many cigarettes as he wants. Or pipes.
Wink, wink.
Oh, is that it? Oh, yeah. He's going to lace some pipe.
Oh.
So sorry. So very sorry.
Let's talk musically.
Let us musically speak upon this.
Amazing acoustic guitar from
my
Mr.
gosh.
Anderson himself.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So thick and resonant.
As the dawn sun breaks over sleepy gardens.
Yeah, it's not, there's nothing dainty here about the acoustic. It's very,
No.
but it's not aggressive either. It's just very confident.
It's firm.
Yeah, it's a firm hand.
Firm, veiny guitar. And then there's an interesting thing going on with his voice. When it first hit my ear, it almost sounded like it was doubled, but then a couple seconds later, I
know.
don't think it is.
I can't tell.
I think it's an effect that he's put on the vocal track, or that someone has put on the vocal track, that gives it the appearance of being doubled, but it's too... It does seem like there's like a doubled voice, but it's so perfect that it makes me think that it's not two vocal tracks laid on top of each other.
It's like it was done stereo and they shifted the right ear a literal fraction of a second, just so you notice the change. And that's it.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of saying it. And that may be, in fact, what they did. And I'm sure someone will correct us if we're wrong.
Which we probably are.
But
my goodness, do I love his voice in this. It's so passionate. It's so genuine and sweet.
Well, and it's not strained. I
Exactly,
keep going back
yeah.
to the comparison to "Cry You a Song," where he's in that vocal place of da 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 da.
Yeah. Rock and roll angst. It's very, he's pushing with everything he has.
It's rangsty.
It's rangsty. That's another beauty of this song, is he doesn't need to push with this. It's just, the imagery, every now and then we get that synesthetic image. I get him walking, like cresting over a hill, the sun at his back. We see his shadow crest the hill first, and then he just looks down on this English manor that he's so close. He's exhausted. His feet are so sore, but he's so close to being home and in front of that fire with Shona that walk is going to be nothing now that he sees the manor.
Have you ever heard the expression, "True love is like a good fart"? If you have to force it, it's not the real thing.
I've not heard that. That's pretty brilliant.
And also the poetic, beautiful things that you said. Let's go back to the music. We have Martin doing something interesting here.
Yep.
Which is a little different from what we've heard sometimes. Often what we've heard recently is Martin just coming in, either playing kind of electric rhythm in the background or just coming in for the Weedly Weedies, the counterpoint, basically.
Yeah. And this is neither, yeah.
Well, he comes in with a couple of really awesome hooks and phrases, but for a lot of it, he's just in the background, almost parallel to Ian's voice.
I'll be here to do all things to comfort you. Oh.
Yeah, it's good accompaniment.
Almost part of the string section.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly where it belongs. Is it picks up? So it goes acoustic, Ian's voice, then Martin comes in with this kind of nondescript. It's not. I mean, it must be plucking or something. I can't quite tell what he's doing with it. And then the strings come in very quickly after that, so they do blend.
Oh, though I've been away, left you alone in this way. Why don't you come away?
Yes, they do. And it's very well mixed, the entire thing.
It is.
I mean, if you pulled the guitar a little bit further forward, it would the whole thing would feel a bit weird and aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Mr. Barlow's drums coming in.
Yep, drums.
In a very soft, restrained way.
The bass comes in next, but I don't know where.
I think it's simultaneous with the drums or around that time.
The shadows in the park were longer yesterday.
By the time I noticed it, I'm fairly confident that it was in already. But those times when I do notice the bass, it's halfway decent bass. Even though it's Ian, it's halfway decent bass.
It is. I mean, it's very pulled back. I think this song, I think the bass would sound a lot different if Glasscock was still playing on this song.
But it also doesn't call for your classic Glasscoggian bass destruction.
Glasquegian? Oof, I don't like the sound of that.
That's slightly off-putting. But yeah, I mean, I wonder were he on this, how different it would be, like how drastic it would be, because the bass itself is so pulled back that it is really more accompaniment than anything in this. But how crazy would he go on this, because it's
probably
so
not
sweet.
very, because he's a good musician.
Exactly.
And he would know what he would understand the assignment, as the kids on TikTok say.
Is that actually a thing?
I understand the assignment. I understood the assignment. That's part of a song. It's a popular expression.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what it means, but it's something that people say.
I understood the assignment. I understood the assignment. I understood the assignment. I understood the assignment. I understood the assignment.
This song is in some kind of common time. It's in either 2/2 or 4/4. Maybe it kind of goes one to the other, but it's basically an even time signature.
Okay.
The drums build throughout as we get into that slightly, as we get into the meat of the song.
Yeah.
And then we have the strings, throughout. It's gorgeous. The whole thing is gorgeous. It is hard to listen to this song without really being swept away by the beauty of it.
Yeah, it is.
Truly.
It is a sonic wave of but it's a nice wave. It's like when you're in a wave pool in a water park. You're gently carried with it. It's not terribly cacophonous or like jarring. It's not. There's nothing abrupt about it.
I've never been to a wave pool.
I haven't either. I've only been to a single water park, and I didn't really partake in it much.
You didn't drink a lot of the water?
I mean, I drank enough, but I got sick pretty easily. I'm a lightweight when it comes to drinking water parks.
Yeah. Just can't hold your chlorine.
I was going to say, it's a mixture between the chlorine and the human urine.
Yes. That's the best part of it. That's the most nutritious thing in there.
It's got to be, yeah.
To make a comparison to something that maybe we've both experienced, it's like sitting in an inner tube floating down a lazy river.
I've not done that either.
Oh my God, you haven't lived. It's like sitting in the bath.
Okay, there you go. Sitting in a stagnant lazy river.
It's like looking at a glass of water from across the room.
Oh my gosh, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
And this song plays in my head.
Yeah. Do you want to jump into the lyrics, Nick?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
So knowing that Ian quote, it's difficult to remove it from Fires at Midnight. That being said, I don't think it necessarily needs to be removed. I think it just solidifies the thesis and really keeps it in the context of what it really is.
I think this is a very different facet in the I love my home and wife diamond.
Yes.
That upon which another facet is Fires at Midnight.
Yeah. I think it's only a 2-carat diamond. It's a 2-song diamond.
It's a 2-sided diamond. It's only got 2 sides. It's a non-Newtonian shape.
It's a flat diamond. I'm sorry, baby. That's all I could afford.
I couldn't afford a third dimension. Maybe next year. Well, but Fires at Midnight, the imagery is all about coming home at the end of a long day. This is the opposite. This is like I got the 3 a.m. flight in and I'm arriving at dawn.
Yeah.
While the household and the one I love is still asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some lovely imagery that works on both sides of that. The dawn sun breaking over sleepy gardens. I mean, that's such an English type of image.
Yeah, it is.
And I love the expression, I'll be here to do all things to comfort you.
As the dawn sun breaks over sleepy gardens, I'll be here to do all things to comfort you.
Oh, it's so sweet. Right out of the gate. It's such a sweet line.
Because it's not, I'm going to do all the things that you need.
Yeah, I'm going to do things to make you happy. Like, it's very specific. Comfort is a very specific form of happiness, of being concerned for someone's comfort is like the ultimate level of love and concern for that being. And then going out of your way to make sure they are comfortable is like, you can't get any better than that.
I heard one time that the definition of a gentleman is someone who puts others' comfort ahead of their own convenience.
Yeah, that sounds right. I've not heard that, but it sounds like it sounds like the definition of a gentleman.
I mean, I think it's in some old book of nonsense, but there's also an element of guilt. And though I've been away, left you alone this way.
Oh, though I've been away, left you alone this way.
It's like I acknowledge that this lifestyle is difficult, is hard. And then the let your first smile take me home.
Why don't you come away and let your first smile take me home?
It's almost home isn't a place. Home is the feeling that you get when the person you love smiles at you. Oh,
yeah, and she just happens to be there at the house, but
because that's where she lives.
He's not quite there until she wakes up, and he's the first thing that she sees, and she smiles at him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What do you make of Lady Luck waiting for the kill?
I think it's, I lucked out finding you.
Yeah.
And just going for the kill is like making something that's so definite and
permanent.
Permanent. Yeah, there's no going back. So that's what that is. The shadows in the park were longer yesterday, and Lady Luck stood still waiting for the kill.
The shadows in the park were longer yesterday, and Lady Luck stood still, waiting for the kill.
So I don't think yesterday is necessarily like chronologically yesterday. It's more a matter of like my days were darker. I was gloomier. I was sadder until I came upon Lady Luck, and she struck, and I found you.
I love that interpretation. I had interpreted the line about the shadows much more literally. The shadows in the park were longer yesterday, meaning it's fall.
Oh, okay.
It's getting into the fall season. You know, yesterday when I was coming through London, the shadows were longer than when I left.
Okay, so
left in the spring or left in the summer, coming back in the fall.
that's a demarcation of time that is...
Yeah, well, it could be.
Okay, yeah.
Because the sun's lower in the horizon, and so it casts longer shadows because
Right.
of science.
Right. I don't know. I never took it like that, but I mean, that makes sense. I do like that idea in terms of really putting the time frame here. He's already said he's been gone for a while and he's finally returning home. That even though we don't have a mention of like an actual time when he last saw her,
Yeah.
that does help to put it in perspective, just that they were longer yesterday.
And that's something that he's very clever with, is saying something without saying it. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
poetry is, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the last note that I have about the overall song is like there's such gorgeous poetry in this song, and
Yes.
we've been seeing more and more of Ian taking things to the level of like really true poetry. And gosh darn it, he is at his prime in his lyric, in his not
Until we get to four-wheel drive, low ratio.
that and astronomy. Yeah, you're right. Not in terms of the content per se, because he's always really good with the language there, but he just takes it to the next level on these last couple of songs.
Yes. And, again, I keep going back to Cry You a Song because it is, for me, it's useful to look at that in terms of like you're saying, the evolution of the poetry, the evolution of the writing. In Cry You a Song, what's the phrase? Flying to London town. Oh, all right. You're flying on a plane.
It's driving. I think it's driving through London town.
Driving through London town?
I think so.
Either way, it's very, I'm doing this thing.
Yeah.
This is, and on a jumbo ride over seas gray, deep and wide, I flew for heaven's sake and let the angels take me home.
Oh, and on a jumbo ride, all the seas great, deep and wide, I flew for heaven's sake and let the angels take me home.
So, he's saying I flew home,
Yeah.
but on a jumbo jet.
Right. The seas gray, deep and wide. That's really the only thing that puts this song into Stormwatch for me, just in terms of giving us that imagery. You could pluck this out and put it anywhere and it would fit, but whether it was intentional or not, I feel like that little imagery, that kind of throwaway line, kind of places us here because of what we've been seeing environmentally.
Well, and then if you pull back and look at the whole album, this almost acts as a foil, like when it's very stormy, dark weather, and then just for a second you get that one ray of light that comes through and stands in contrast to how dark and stormy the weather is.
Yeah.
I feel like it's that.
Yeah, this song is halfway through side one. We've got Dark Ages and Warm Sporin coming up, so it is the kind of the eye of the storm, or when those clouds break. You're right.
Yes,
Yeah.
the breath before the plunge.
Yeah. I just want to go back to I flew for heaven's sake and let the angels take me home. I think that's a double meaning there. Like, for heaven's sake, I flew for heaven's sake, just like as a term, as a phrase.
Sure.
But also like this is preordained. This is destined.
Yeah.
I am protected by God and the angels to get me home to you.
Right. By loving you, I am serving the divine.
Yeah, I have their protection.
I've surrendered to my purpose. Yeah. Oh, it's lovely. It's
it really is.
It makes me want to be a better husband, Nick.
Omen, you have, aside from a couple of rocky bits, you've been a great husband to me.
You always know what to say. Oh, there's another lovely line that I want to pull out of here. There are two things that I want to mention. We don't have to go line by line, but I know what the robin feels in his summer jamboree.
Yeah, so good.
Oh, my gird.
So good.
Upon the golden fields, know what the robin feels in a summer jamboree.
He's literally come home to the breeding grounds.
Yeah. And it's the idea of particularly in the spring, the robins coming out from the cold, they're starting to flirt with one another. They're going for worms. So there's an energy there. There's a socialization there. There's returning to the entities that you are supposed to be with.
Yeah, well, and they're migratory, so he's migrated back home.
Are robins migratory?
Probably. They're birds, ain't they?
You know what? I've never seen a bird when it was snowing out, Omen. You're right. And then to finish the song, this is the primo poet for me. All elements agree in sweet and stormy blend, midwife to winds that send me home.
All elements agree in sweet and stormy blend, midwife to winds that send me home.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
There's some unexpected elements in there. I mean, first of all, a sweet and stormy blend is my favorite drink.
It sounds like the scotch that I just said. Oh, I finally tried the Talisker Storm at my dad's.
Yeah. How long ago did you try it?
That was this past weekend, so just about a week ago.
And you're still drunk.
And oh my gosh, it was good. I had just a snoot of it, but I've never had a really peaty scotch before.
Yeah.
But boy, howdy, it's nice. I do like it a lot.
The next Mohm's camping retreat, we'll have to get that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. That'd be good.
So all elements agree. I mean, there's something almost alchemical about that. Something kind of old world, the four elements coming together to create the quintessence, the Philosopher's Stone. There's something magical happening.
Also, I think it goes from the religious to the, if it's not religious, it's
secular?
Secular, yeah. It goes from the religious to the secular, or the new religion, Christianity, to the old religion, that we saw all in Songs from the Wood.
Yes.
He's going back to elements. He's going back to animals and nature. He's giving us that side of the description there. So he's everything. Every force is aligned to get him home. A stormy blend, midwife to winds. It delivers the winds. It produces them. It pulls them out of the womb of nature.
Yeah. It's like Poseidon sending a fair wind to, not Odysseus. He hated Odysseus. Who did Poseidon provide a fair wind for? Anybody?
Agamemnon.
Agamemnon,
he sacrificed his youngest daughter, I believe, in the
Agamemniad?
The Orestian trilogy.
Right.
Is Agamemnon, written by Aeschylus. So it's Agamemnon, the Coephori, and the Eumenides.
Yes, the Eumenides. Okay, cool.
The Eumenides are the Harpies sent to punish. The Coephori are the libation bearers.
Well, Agamemnon comes home and gets murdered because he was a bad dude.
Yes.
I think his daughter or his wife kills him?
His daughter and his son, I believe.
Right.
And then those two spend all of book 3, play 3,
dealing with the
running from the Eumenides, because they are specifically Furies sent to punish patricide. Yeah.
Huh. Whew. Just another note about, what you were saying, going from the modern religion, the angels, the heavens, the animals, the elements. He's almost describing do you remember the Elizabethan concept of the great chain of being?
Ooh.
That at the top you have God, and then as it goes down and down, you get the archangels, the angels, the cherubs, and it gets down to mankind and all the different social classes, starting with the ordained ruler, and then moving down through the nobles, and then to the tradesmen, and then down to the beggars, and then way down to the bottom, the podcasters, and then it goes down to animals, and then all the way down to elements. So he's sort of saying everything in the universe is aligned perfectly to send me back to you.
Yeah. I'm going with the natural order. It's like you can't fight magnets. Like this.
You can't fight the moonlight.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that.
You did not.
I did.
Do you love that song?
No.
And you know, you can't fight the moonlight, no.
We featured that
Can't fight it.
a month or two ago, I think. A little
Never.
while ago, we used it, yeah.
Not too soon enough.
Not often enough, I suppose.
You can try to resist, try to hide from my kiss, but you know that you can't fight the moonlight deep in the dark. You'll surrender your heart, but you know that you can't fight the moonlight. No, you can't fight it. It's gonna get to your heart.
Anything else to say about Home?
I guess I don't really have anything else. I never sat and like listened to it. I never read the lyrics along with it.
Same.
So it was really nice to kind of, and it was a beautiful song. It's always been just a gorgeous song, but really getting into the fine detail of the poetry has just really moved this song up the ladder to me. I think I would put this on par with Moths. When you think, in terms of just like a sweet love song, gorgeous music, I think that would be a good, if we were starting like a playlist, I think that would be a good pair to start with.
That's your Weep on the Floor playlist?
Yeah, try to tell Raven how much I love her, but she will never know because she'll never listen to this playlist.
Oh, when Katie and I were driving up to Tennessee, or when we were coming back, I did a lot of the driving, and at some point I was fiddling with the armrest, and I opened it up to get some pumpkin seeds or something, and I found the $5 used CD of Aqualung that I had given her that I bought for her on our second date when we went to a record store in Rochester, New York.
Of all the albums to give to her, you start with Aqualung?
What would you start with? That's a classic.
I know, but I mean, if you're trying to introduce someone to Tull, I
gave her Aqualung and Songs from the Wood. I think they had both of those for sale.
Perfect. Okay, continue.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you have this in your car." I was like, "Do you listen to it?" And she looked at me and she was like, "No." I was like, "Did you ever listen to it?" She was like, "Yeah, I listened to it once." I was like, "You hated it?" She's like, "Yeah, I hated it." Like, okay, cool. Good talk.
As to be expected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Omen.
Yes, Nick.
If this song were a bird, what kind of bird would it be?
It would be a beautiful organic raised chicken cooked in the style that your mother used to make for you when you were a child. But now your partner has learned how to cook it exactly in that way. And you weren't expecting it, but you came home and you smelled it and you're like, oh,
Mommy?
God.
I hope that Raven never cooks a roast chicken the way my mom used to cook a roast chicken.
All right, the way my mom used to cook it.
Okay, fair enough. Because my mom used to her goal was to make it as dry as possible.
Oh, no.
I don't know. She never managed to do that.
Nick, if this song were a bath, what kind of a bath would it be?
It would be a bath that you come home to after working 12 hours in November doing pulling wire through pull boxes.
Okay.
Let's say over a dozen 5-wires through about 6 pull boxes. You're exhausted, you're soaked, you're freezing, you're starving. You walk in the door and your wife has drawn a bath for you with salts and has the diffuser going, so you've got a nice scent journey happening, and you just take your clothes off from the door to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And just sink in and melt away.
And she's also got that chicken in the oven.
And that chicken is you smell that chicken as you get out of the bath. Yeah.
Oh my God, you killed Harold. What did you say the chicken's name was?
Which chicken?
I don't know. You made a joke.
The chicken that your mother cooked you?
No, never mind. We'll skip that whole section. We're at cross purposes.
Clearly.
I just have an observation.
Yeah.
The joke that like boomer humor is I hate my wife and millennial humor is I hate my life.
No, I've never heard it like that, but yes.
I sometimes have thought, oh gosh, Ian Anderson must have a really hard life because he has to spend so much time away from a woman that he clearly loves, and he loves being at home. He's rarely at home. But actually, in a way, I think it's very lucky because when you have to be away from something, you gain such an appreciation for it.
Yeah.
Where if you're in that environment or around that thing that is the object of your love all the time, you can forget how special and unique it is.
If the relationship is healthy and strong enough to handle being so far away from one another for so long, because that's a stress in its own right. But yeah, if you can handle that distance, boy, does it make you appreciate the time you are together. Sure.
Yeah.
So what are we going to discuss next week, Omen?
Well, you said it earlier. We are next going to discuss Dark Ages. I'm super excited about Dark Ages. I mean, I love this whole album.
It's so good. It's so very good. I'm really starting to appreciate it more. I mean, I liked it before, but if I had to choose of the three, the three folk triptych, this would be the last one that I want to listen to. But now, I feel the need to listen to more and more of this.
Yeah,
I'm really digging it.
I'm realizing I used to have this album reversed chronologically in my mind with Broadsword. I sort of mentally had this album after Broadsword.
Oh, in terms of their release date?
Yeah, in terms of terms of the progression of them.
Yeah, it always surprises me how late Broadsword was.
Yeah.
In the run.
Until next week, you don't have to travel across the world to receive our loving smile. All you have to do is pluck 5 stars from the firmament and give them to us first thing in the morning when we wake up, and then we will file a restraining order.
When we see a new Patreon subscriber, just $5, patreon.com/talktoltome, or when we see a sale of some merch, the link you can find in the show notes, we know what the Robin feels in his summer jamboree.
We do. All elements agree that you should review us in a sweet and stormy blend. You should play midwife to a review that will send us to a home of happiness.
Until next week, sweet Tull Skulls, I am the dawn that breaks the sun, Nick McGill.
I am the jumbo ride of necessity, Omen Sade.
We are the feckless momes that stood still waiting for the kill.
And this is the golden field of Talk Tull to me.
We're just getting more and more complex with every episode of things to remember and themes to do, and
we're doing it though. It's good.
We are, yeah. We are pretty darn consistent.
I have a suggestion. I don't think we should do an outro with this song.
Really?
Yeah. Number 1, because I have 0 ideas. Number 2, because I think that it's such a beautiful song, I almost don't want to take the piss out of it.
But how will they know that Talk Tull to Me is a proud member of the Feckless Momes Audio Network?
That was it. We did it.